What is up, tea people? It's tea time, y'all. 3 Yiwus today. Some 90s Yiwu from Clint. Thank you, dude. Bunch of really cool tea. Fairly loose leaf. And they're, of the clumps of this, they were very loosely packed. Dragon Tea House 2006 Yiwu. Final bit of the sample. Very densely compressed. I don't know if I can get an edge on there. Saw a clean one. Anyway, you get the deal. And then a pretty affordable entry from a factory, from Kunming factory. So here we go. So I'm gonna actually pause, I think, and save everyone the grief of all the rinses. We can give these guys a couple rinses.
No. People love that.
Special guest John comes out from the okay. All right. So when you think of Yiwu tea, what do you think of now?
It's like a sweet, nice little raw. Usually, like drinking a young one is nice versus other raw pu'er where I'm not really having that good of a time drinking it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's interesting to be having these aged ones because I haven't had much aged Yiwu, especially not 90s. So
Yeah, this is an interesting one, and I wish I had more of a story from this one from Clint. I actually have a spreadsheet, but I don't. That he has some info about, but I'm not positive. Giving those a good rinse. Ooh, look at that color, beautiful, beautiful.
yeah, that looks like right.
I mean, look at that difference, crazy, pretty impressive. And the raw material doesn't look too different. We'll see it in the cups now. This will actually represent the higher level of saturation because it's a higher amount of, it's up higher up, if you will. So for the camera, for folks who are watching, these two are not going to be a fair comparison. This is going to always look lighter than this. But yeah, let's dump these and feel free to give a sniff.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're releasing all these odors out, not.
Wow. Ooh. I'm smelling the chahai, and my goodness, a lot of old wood on that one. And then
What
like
is chahai?
this thing, the fairness pitcher.
Gotcha.
And then, dude, the like, remember how we had that one tea and you guys nailed the like green pea note?
Yeah,
I think it was Alex. I get a green pea vegetal thing from that.
Okay.
Man, there's some really good funk on the end of that. Some camphor for sure. Yeah, someone was asking what makes a tea have camphor, and some teas just do. And this one smells like it does for sure.
That's your answer? Some teas just do.
It's like hard to explain when.
Yeah.
I mean, how would I know when and why? Man, there's something kind of strange and funky.
Yeah, I was
on,
surprised by
yeah,
the funk of that one.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see if it actually tastes good or not.
The most Yiwu smelling is the middle.
I agree,
Yes.
100%. That color. Oh my god, taking forever to extract this. A little bit of a bigger gap. Woof, this looks strong. Okay. So I kind of want to intro you to the Dragon Tea House one first. So let's start there. And because this is one that I ended up buying the 2016 version of this from Teas We Like. So we can see also that it's kind of an unfair just from the leaf expansion, right? We weighed out the same amount of grams, right? But we're still the volume. So there's a word that I learned from a commenter that actually was William, was the one from Farmer Leaf, and it's turgidity. And that's the amount of dryness or wetness, or rather the amount of water that's been absorbed into a substrate. And so this one is gonna be less turgid and have a longer number of steeps to take to get to what would be an equivalent amount with the zone on the right and left. So keeping that in mind when we're drinking, right? in this case, it's going to be compression that's going to have a big influence on this. So I'm pouring off camera for John and I. I'll give you the lion's share of this one. Yeah, let me know.
A lot more in my cup.
I know, I gave you the lion's share. Yeah. Let's just do this one for a couple steepings to start until at least it looks like the same volume as the other ones. It won't quite be an equivalent comparison, but I'll be honest. This session is about the Dragon Tea House Yiwu for me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's good.
Some really.
It has the feeling of like a good tea with like just the mouth feel. And just the,
Mm-hmm. For me, it has that classic Yiwu sweetness to start. That like just kind of saccharine sweet sugary thing that you talked about on, I think we're on the river, and then we're getting into it, but that aftertaste, right? And I think, yeah, to your point about the mouthfeel and just how it physically affects you in your mouth. It's kind of an interesting thing. I was thinking about this yesterday, actually. Flavors are hard, like you're a new tea drinker, you being whoever, audience member, me, John, getting started, especially like there's just a lot of flavors to have. And like, when's the last time that you had black currants, right? So some things are just more at hand and familiar in terms of the flavor. Not being able to maybe say the words of the flavors that you're experiencing doesn't mean you're not experiencing them, though. And the point of tea is to be soaking up and caught up in the experience of it. Adding words to it, it might enhance the experience. It might detract from the experience. Socrates was kind of a big guy about that. Plenty of philosophers too. So it depends on who you are. For me, I like to kind of get into this weeds and think about it. But one thing for new tea drinkers, if you're having a hard time with taste, think about the physical feel of these teas. That's also something that it is a perception. It's not something that you have to second guess. You're experiencing it. It is a physical feeling. So how does it coat your throat or mouth, or do you taste it in the tip of your tongue or what have you? So those are other incredibly important, very valid aspects of tea drinking that aren't about taste. So you might not have to worry about the words to use to still be focusing in and appreciating the different aspects of the tea. Cheers. Still some hints of flowers. The sweetness on top for me is so lovely. And then just sitting here, I'm tasting that bassy hay yerba mate desert flavor, just continue. What do you think in terms of like bitterness, astringency, strength, those kind of things? We're still getting into it.
Yeah, the steeping was more bitter.
And Yiwus are pressed now with different things in mind. So a lot of people there's a lot of commercial reasons why people want to press, produce, and sell young tea for a high amount of money and market it as a high-end fresh Yiwu you should drink today. They don't have to hold on to any of the inventory that way either. And so Yiwu has sort of moved to focusing on a lot of the sweetest profiles. So some of these older Yiwus that we're looking at here today, the idea is to find material that is both sweet and also powerful and lasting. That's what we're trying to figure out what's going on here specifically with these three today. A bit of a hair in there. And this material here is still hot, but it's still like clumped up there's still,
Really
there's like still a dry leaf in the middle of that. So we're still not getting a fair extraction. Okay. So third steep. And these are some of the older Yiwus that you've had. These will be
I've only had young Yiwus, really.
okay. Color. Cheers. Mm. For me, it's so cohesive. The combination of these flavors is so delightful together. A little bit of a fruity thing coming now. Would you say it's like smoky or whiskey or peaty or any of those kind of things?
No.
Yeah, not at all, right? It's interesting. It's like that base kind of green flavor is maybe like a bit more like hay. We talked about maybe getting you to try yerba mate, but I would describe it kind of like that too. Maybe a little bit like desert sagey in some ways. So let's just shake it up now. Let's try the 90s one.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be colder than it should be, but that's okay. Beautiful. Yeah, that's actually kind of an interesting question. I definitely want my tea to be cooled down enough that I'm not getting hurt. So just right off the bat, the extraction on this to me looks much thicker, much more viscosity. People will call that like legs with the wine or whatever. Cheers. Whoa. That is interesting. Ooh. First blush is, I don't know if I like this. Very, there's some guarded patch stuff happening in this pretty hard. Interesting. Ooh, very different. Does not have any of that sweet front that I'm used to. Like, to your point about what smelled like Yiwu, like this does not taste like Yiwu to me.
Yeah. I guess it's just because the age.
Yeah.
It just like doesn't matter what the base material is at this point as much.
Possibly, but I mean, even something like this, you still differentiate it quite a bit. There's still not enough homogeneity at like a 90s teas that you can't be like, oh, they all taste the same. Like they're very interesting. Kind of a lingering bitterness. That's off the first steeping. Okay, let's compare it to the C9P cake. So comparatively, like the bitterness with the Dragon Tea House one versus the 90s one, there's, for me at least, I'm feeling like I'm tasting more of the base flavors with the bitterness combined, whereas that to me just has kind of like a slightly overpowering bitter aspect of it. I'm not even opposed to these teas and those flavors necessarily. It's just really not what I think of when I think of Yiwu. So, okay, here's the C9P cake. Cheers. So only 2-year difference between the Dragon Tea House Yiwu and this one. What do you think about astringency differences?
The Dragon Tea House one is more astringent. It seems like it's wanting to be aged more, whereas the CNNP tastes like one that's made to be drinking younger. Because it's got a lot more of that like juicy grape kind of thing going on.
Yeah, it definitely tastes much cleaner to me. Yeah, but interestingly, I do think that the Dragon Tea House Yiwu is stronger. So, and we'll get there because
stronger in what way?
I think that the base profile of the Dragon Tea House Yiwu has a more lasting depth.
Yeah.
This is maybe a bit bitter, more bitter, frankly. I would say even.
It kind of came and went. Whereas
yeah, totally.
With the Dragon Tea House, I more liked the aftertaste than the initial, and this one's the opposite, where it's now just like
kind of
in and
gone.
out.
Yeah. Let's go back to this one. How would you rank them so far?
Rank them.
Yeah. Just personal preference. If you had to go and,
I wish I could combine them. Because I do like the CNNP flavor the most. But then the aftertaste of the Dragon Tea House and the mouthfeel. And then it'd be nice if there was like a little funk like the 90s guy. I mean, I don't know.
The 90s one feels like the black sheep of this session.
Yeah, it doesn't
for sure.
really belong.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of like technically part of this session, but really not very instructive.
Yeah.
Also something that's pretty hard to like find.
Yeah, and like pinpoint like
exactly.
With it.
Yeah. Shout out to Clint for hooking that sample up, dude. I appreciate you so much. That's looking like it's getting dark. So we'll compare these two. Okay. So in terms of the volume of the tea, kind of top-down shot, I still think there's maybe a little bit more space for this Dragon Tea House tea to expand. There's still, sorry for getting my pause in here, but there's still quite a bit of chunks in there that haven't quite broken all the way apart. So this is where, frankly, kind of having some experience with your teas is an important thing, especially when evaluating them. So the liqueur is going to be probably fairly similar. Okay. Cheers.
I'm excited for this sip. That's really nice.
It's so nice, right?
Okay, this
so
one's
nice.
I like this.
Yeah. Because it has that front sweetness, and then just like that, we're sitting here, I'm just like tasting this base on it. So I bought a 2016 version of this with the hopes that in 10 years it's going to resemble something that looks like that. And the 2016 one was like, I think $220, so less than $1 per gram. And for your like kind of fancy, hyped up a little bit Yiwu tea, actually in today's market that's like kind of reasonable. Probably could go and figure it out, go to Hong Kong and find a much cheaper version of this, but not bad. Okay, let's go ahead and try this one in comparison.
It still feels like it needs more age, though.
That lasting strength is like, right? Yeah, like there's something there still. I think I'm out of water. I'll go. Let's have this sip and then I'll get some new water. Cheers. So for me, I think the CNNP one is just like, oh, you good? The CNNP one for me just is, I think, actually just kind of the worst one across the board personally. I just think it has a sharpness on like all the parts of it that I don't really enjoy too much. The lingering bitterness is not my favorite, nor is it particularly strong. It has a kind of a diesel thing that I'm kind of surprised of something from 2008 having so much oomph in it. So this one for me, not my favorite. The Dragon Tea House Yiwu for me, I don't know. It's a specialty. I think this one's been included in a bunch of like the various blind sampling kind of things that different people have done on Discord. So this is a fairly sought out one. I think there's the 2004 version on Tuesday like for $650. Let me see if I can find the 2006 version on there.
Yeah, the middle tea is definitely better.
Right.
Initially, I didn't know, and now I do.
Yeah.
It's interesting how those early steepings work. It's so hard to.
They are. Yeah, they're not very representative because you're getting almost none of the base pretty reliably, unless it's something very gnarly and intense. So for the kind of beginning Yiwu sweetness, yeah, this tea is gonna always kind of have a nice complexion, be fairly drinkable. But then when you start to brew out some of those harder steeps, that's where it becomes a little bit more abrasive. Whereas this just has power, it has strength, but the whole thing is, I said more cohesive. It's a rounded corners versus a sharp edges version of it.
Yeah.
So it's not even that the flavors are really radically different. They do taste different, I think, but I think the 2008 one is quite peaty and green. This has much more developed hay, bassier, low notes, I think. But yeah, I'm glad we got to do this session. This was a fun one for me. And yeah, I mean the Dragon Tea House tea, it's expensive, but I think it's a reasonably priced tea for what you're getting. And it's a treat. It's not something that I'm going to reach to even once a week necessarily. It's something to break out for a good friend, to let hang out for years and years and years and see how it develops. And there will be a time when this tea turns to something that may not be quite what I want. And so making sure to get to it before then too, right? My guess is that something like this 2006 version would be perfect in about 5 years. And so I have a long time to wait for my cake.
Juju's 18th birthday.
Oh, dude. Here's some Yiwu and a slap on the butt. Get out in the world, bud. So let's just keep drinking this one. Let's try this one again, because this we gotta at least represent the. Yeah. And we'll push the Yiwu here first. The Yiwu, the Dragon Tea House tea for a second here. Yeah, look at the material. There's actually a lot of green in there still.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The nose on that's so interesting.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know why. Let's definitely explore these next steepings here.
I mean, it does have like a nice menthol smell to it.
Definitely cooling. I agree with that note for sure. I'm getting in there.
I feel like people who are into I'm not.
Okay, like pickles a little bit.
Yeah.
And like wood shop. I'm getting like a dill pickle vibe on this pretty hard. Man, some of the 7542 samples that we had for the steam milk drink tasting, to me had some like leek soup and dill pickle flavor. Interesting. Okay. 90s Yiwu. I gave myself more. Sorry. Cheers. Okay. Maybe we needed 2 rinses on that one.
Yeah.
Because this is much better. Yeah. That dark wood profile is really nice.
Yeah. I really like that.
Ooh, very cooling. Yeah. Okay. But does it taste like Yiwu? That to me, I would, if I, just being honest with my own drinking, like when I blinded, I would have no idea how to compare that to an Yiwu. Yeah, I think we might have to.
It's becoming more interesting by the second.
Let's do it. Not a lot of lingering sweetness at all.
No, just like a little bit of that.
Yeah, totally. Definitely different. I can see wanting to get my hands on something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Have this in the quiver.
Yeah, I love freaky little teas like this.
Yeah, totally. That's a good description. Very unique. And that's kind of, I think Clint's Pressing is kind of one of those deals where it's a small factory, found a cool connection, tried a lot of different stuff, and then decided on a few different things.
So this is from 90s material but pressed recently?
I don't think so. I think this is probably loose 90s material from that might not have ever even been pressed at all. So it might just be 90s Malcha. I don't actually know. It's all loose in the sample we received. So okay, push this one real hard.
I mean, is it possible that there are some younger leaves in there, and that's why there's some that are green? Or is it just the lack of uniformity when you
I think it's more than anything. I would guess that all the material is from the 90s, but that and we'll get in here a little bit because you can really see there. And this is where I need your help with color correction, because pulling all the detail of the differences of these colors is something I want, right? There's some like kind of almost blue hues in here that are hard to show up on camera. John's got some serious skills on this stuff. So, but like looking at this top leaf right here, that is green as hell. And even the amount of oxidation, it hasn't really turned into that kind of like brown square color that I'm used to. Like it's very
some of it is.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, you're right, for sure. Some of the pieces are dark. Definitely fairly heterogeneous though in terms of the oxidation of the leaves. So one would guess a blend. And oop, sorry everybody. And let's try to get the leaves. And you know, these 90s teas, man, these old teas from small producers and stuff, they were just done way more haphazardly, right? Even newer small producers are trying to create standardization for their own teas because consumers want likeness year by year. And if they like something, they want to be able to buy a younger version of it for a better price and then hang on to it. So the incentives around pu'er have changed, and then as a result, it's influenced the processing, not literally the tea processing, but like the manufacturing, the factory process. So something like this is just less likely that there was as much attention to detail paid. Nor my guess is would someone think that they're gonna, you know, make this tea and someone in 2025 would be drinking it
for their YouTube channel.
some bald white dude. Yeah, we would be drinking it for our YouTube.
Okay. Shout out if you're loving the Dennysodes.
Dennysodes, why? Okay, I'll update the titles for the other one.
Okay, with the star.
John's got some pretty pointy elbows. I feel like I'm being pushed out of the limelight here. Damn.
You can be my co-star.
Oh, okay. Almost some kind of charcoal-y vibes in that. The base of it is really minerally, in my opinion. Yeah, again, not a lot of that sweetness on top. So this has been hanging out for a second. This will be an instructive comparison. Have a sip of water between these two. And like, the reason I brought out the CNP cake was to basically do what we did, which is to taste it a couple times and notice how much worse it is ultimately.
Wow.
Well,
shots fired.
Yeah, but truthfully, I mean, you know, and some reason I would love to have some reference Yiwu that is not insanely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to find one that's good, that's been produced a lot, that's reasonably priced at this point.
What was that one we had last time? Was it Everlasting Tea? Or...
We actually had a CNP Yiwu earlier this week that was nice.
I mean, like last year.
Oh.
That one was, I was looking into.
It wouldn't have been Everlasting. Oh, goodness, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Essence of Tea?
Okay, yeah.
Starts with an
E. Yeah. Cheers. I don't know if they're in business anymore, unfortunately. Yeah. It's a tough. We were chatting about earlier, like, people need to charge a good amount of money for these teas. It's a tough thing to be a Western tea seller.
The flavor gets better.
Oh, it's so nice. Like, totally. You just sit. Yeah. And that to me, like, there's something, if you want to measure the number of minutes of your tea experience, over the intensity of the experience. Getting a higher quality tea is more expensive, but also you're getting a higher intensity experience for longer when doing it, right? Hopefully. So that's the point of these sessions, right? Is to evaluate. If we had ended up having the C9P cake today, I was totally open-minded to the fact that it could be fine. Maybe probably not nearly as good, but it could have been fine. In which case, now we have a reference for, hey, you know, this tea here in the middle, it's
I got it.
yeah, we should.
You're dogging on it. I'm like, I liked it at one point. Maybe you just oversteeped it on that one.
It's definitely possible. Yeah, I'd see that now. Because I think we only see this one twice.
Oh, yeah?
And so, gosh, I could actually probably should look up and see how much this costs. This is the Blue Mark.
Sounds good to me.
So Yunnan Sourcing sells this cake for $77. That sounds right to me. Okay, here we go. I think that this, the very first initial sweetness I like tastes like Yiwu to me. Something in the middle there that is just kind of a little bit sharp, a little bit bruisey. And then I think the main thing really is that there's like almost no aftertaste. Sitting here in comparison,
like, yeah,
it's kind of like done now. You know,
just like dries out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think this tastes enough like an Yiwu tea that you could, if you wanted to get a sample of this to see what these flavors taste like, to get in there and do it. But I think I'd rather just spend a couple extra bucks and get something that's going to be a little bit more enjoyable. I don't know where.
Just an extra $600
for a sample, brother. So I think, yeah. And then, finding yourself a 90s Yiwu, that just involves being a tea nerd and going on to Discord and chat with people, post some photos and make some friends.
Get some clout.
Get some clout, brother. But frankly, man, yeah, it's just so, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Clint. It's very cool. I appreciate you.
Yeah, tea is really interesting.
It's a fun thing we get to do. And we've been jamming for 30 minutes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Nice color. Looks like maybe the viscosity is fading a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna do this one. So this Dragon Tea House tea is a one where we'll probably end up drinking some other stuff today, but I'm gonna continue to push this all the way through till the bitter end. And that's one where even those late steeps, they're not gonna be nearly as strong, but they'll still have some really nice flavor. Man, it would be cool actually to have a second camera with like a different angle so that when I'm doing that shot, I'm not just taking up 70% of the freaking screen real estate with my hand.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily set up a shot that would capture the pour and you talking, which is most of the action is you talking. And you are so expressive with your hands, and all of it's off camera. And I'm just like,
okay.
It's a podcast,
It definitely is a podcast. Yeah. I'm torn because I love the footage of the actual leaf, and I need to get that even dialed better. I think that these colors just blend too much right now together. They feel more different in person. 90s. I like that idea. Also, that dude's face in that screenshot is just. I don't know. I'm gonna have to grow a beard out.
Shout out to Goku. The truth.
Okay, let's do this final steeping, and we'll call it for the episode. But I'm gonna keep slurping on this one today.
The audience will have to use their imagination.
Yeah, comment below about the late steeps idea, because I like those ones too. They're interesting for me. It's harder as a tea drinker, I think, to be focused in on those late steepings. It's easier to just like, okay, moving on to the next thing, and to give those late steepings as much attention as those beginning ones.
Yeah,
it's hard, but it's instructive. And I think those late steepings tell a lot about the quality of those, like, teas that you're hoping to maybe spend some money on. So that's when being a bit more dialed in on it is probably a good idea. Cheerio.
That is an interesting part about the tea drinking experience that I hadn't really considered. Is that at the beginning, it's like the steepings are so short, and you're like, there's so much like concentrated activity.
Yeah.
And then like with each one, it like slows down, and your mind starts to drift between each, and then you're like transition so easily into like work. Or whatever.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like this is the hard part of the marathon where you're trying to really keep pace. Plenty of strength in this one still.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing with the more expensive teas. You usually push them longer. Right?
Yeah. Even the Viet Sung white tea that I've really been enjoying this year, that one pushes much into like 5 steepings without effort, whereas most white teas I think are done after like 2, 3 maybe. So let this one hang out, and we'll call this one after. Oh, I have to say, I'm also feeling some type of way right now. A little lightheaded, a little buzzy. Ready to go outside and get some activity in. Yeah. So the 90s tea, pretty different. Overall, actually I like that one.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's just very this doesn't belong in the session.
That would have been interesting to have with like another old.
Yes, actually.
If you can pick out the Yiwu.
That's a good point. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's still got life in it.
I'm able to hunt up something. Wow.
Yeah.
There's an intense kind of medicine-y smell on that oof, I don't love that much. It's almost stomach churning for me. Not even mushroom, just like kind of, I don't know. I think the thing about those kind of teas is that you can try that tea. It's an Yiwu tea, but if you tried that tea and only that tea, then you would be like, I don't like Yiwu tea that much. It's like, Okay. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Hopefully you've enjoyed the Dennysodes. As well as the upcoming Samisode, and there's going to be another James and Johnisode, James John Dennyisode.
See if I make it back from the mountain.
That's true, actually. Cheers. It's like almost those high notes are almost higher now. And if you're pushing it, you still kind of get that mouthfeel a little bit. It's lightening up. You can taste it, right? But yeah, I love that, like that lasting. It's like almost a sweet bitter flavor, and yeah, this is just a real treat to drink, and really different than a lot of the other Shagwan, teas that we've had in the Dai 8582. It's got like a very different character. Yeah, thanks, homie.
Thank you. Great session.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out everybody who made it this far. You're insane. Much love. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.